So, have you ever wondered how a quiet, intentionally hidden life can produce an absolutely extraordinary impact? It's a fascinating question, and it's right at the heart of the story we're diving into today, a story that actually begins in one of modern history's darkest moments. Our story starts in a really tough time, and it centers on a man who was, by all accounts, completely ordinary. I mean, he was just a simple tailor. But, and this is the incredible part, this simple tailor did something truly remarkable. He took a small group of young men under his wing and personally formed one of them into a future saint, a man who would go on to change the world. That tailor was Venerable Jan Tyrnowski, and understanding his story, well, it's the key to unlocking a powerful model for making a difference that feels more relevant right now than ever before. To really get the weight of this, you have to picture the scene. Nazi-occupied Poland. In a time of immense, constant danger, Tyrnowski, who had no formal training, risked his life to lead an underground ministry. Now, his method wasn't about big events or fancy programs. No, it was all about intentional, personal investment. He taught these young men how to pray, how to discern God's will for their lives. And right there among them was a young Karl Wojtyla, who, as we now know, became the great Pope St. John Paul II. Just incredible. Tarnowski's life is this perfect illustration of a very specific spiritual path, the Carmelite model of discipleship. It's a model of a hidden life that is, somehow, incredibly fruitful. Okay, so what is that exactly? Well, at its core, Carmelite discipleship is all about a hidden, prayerful life that bears visible, transformative fruit. The whole idea is that your intimate inner relationship with Christ is what fuels your outer mission. One flows directly, and I mean directly, from the other. This gives us a really powerful metaphor to work with. When you are deeply rooted in your spiritual life, your own life becomes a kind of wellspring that others can drink from. See, it's not about you generating the life, but about you being a channel for it. It's kind of like how a Carmelite's prayers are said to silently sustain the church. This kind of personal discipleship can create an impact that goes way beyond what anyone can see. But hey, this isn't just some interesting history lesson. This model has a super urgent application for us, right here and right now. Just look at this comparison. Tyrannovsky was facing a world under totalitarian rule. We, on the other hand, are facing a very different but still really powerful challenge, this pervasive secular outlook on life. It bombards us all the time with questions about our purpose and our identity. This modern landscape, it's its own kind of mission field, and a mission field needs missionary disciples. And this is exactly why the Carmelite life isn't a retreat from the world. It's actually more like a radical discipleship boot camp. The time spent in prayer and solitude isn't an escape route. It's intense preparation for the work of guiding others through that mission field. So, how does this actually work in practice? Well, the model gives us a clear three-part framework for action: win, build, and send. Now, this isn't some rigid checklist, but more of an organic journey. It all starts with win, which is where you have your own deep personal encounter with the gospel. Then comes build. That's all about personal formation. And finally, you get to send, which is the high call to mission, where that inner life starts to bear some serious fruit. Let's focus on that build phase for a minute, because this is really the heart of it. It involves three key practices. First, prayer, which is described as the spiritual breathing of the soul. It has to be constant. Second, the sacraments, especially the Eucharist as the source and summit of our life, and confession for its healing power. And third, the apostles' teaching. This is all about winning the battle for our mind by grounding ourselves in truth. And once you're built up, you're sent. This doesn't mean you have to become a preacher overnight. Not at all. It's about developing moral authority through a life of excellence and integrity. It's about faithfulness to Christ and His church. And this all leads to missionary discipleship, to embracing what's called the little way of evangelization, which is all about small, personal acts of witness. In that little way, well, it brings us full circle, right back to that core idea of how small, faithful actions can have a truly massive impact. This is the method. It's not about scale, it's about depth. It's about investing deeply in a few people, just like Jesus did with his apostles, and just like John Taranovsky did with Karol Wojtyla. It's personal, it's intentional, and it is absolutely transformative. So as we wrap up, this is the final thought I want to leave you with. What if your quietest moments, your most hidden acts of faithfulness, could have the loudest and most lasting impact? The story of the tailor and the Pope suggests they absolutely can. The only question left is, where will you begin?